Welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I'm going to do a topic that I keep getting messaged about and I've been promising to do for a while in detail, is sensorimotor OCD. So what's involved with sensorimotor OCD? Sensorimotor OCD is basically the sensations of anything in your, like for example, blinking, for example, saliva, for example, breathing, let's have to think, blinking, saliva, breathing, sensation of swallowing, sensations of, what other sensory ones does it have? Those are the main ones. Those are the main those are the main things that it gets around. Now, what it does is it creates a sort of locked sensation. So what happens is you get a position where you feel like, say for example, in solipsism OCD, where you're scared of being the only person in the world who's real. In this, what happens is, so in solipsism, you'll feel separate. Like all OCD locks on and makes the thing feel real. If you've got gay OCD, it'll make you feel gay, where it completely convinces you you're gay. Even if there's no anxiety there, it feels absolutely identically the same. So with sensorimotor, what you're having happen there is you've got a situation where, like with the solipsism, where you'll feel locked, separate to the... I want to get this picture right so people can understand it. With the solipsism OCD, you get a situation where you're separate to the world. You feel, all the other humans feel like robots or a simulation, and you feel separate to that, right? That's exactly what happens with the solipsism OCD. So you feel separate. Now, with the sensorimotor, you feel locked in that sensation. So you feel locked completely in saliva, in your sensation of saliva, like sort of trapped, locked in that, or locked in your blinking. Now, it doesn't mean you're sort of, it means that you're sort of, all your focus is in that, and then you're sort of locked in that cycle of that. I'm only going to, just for a reference today, because I'm going to cover just sensorimotor OCD. I'm not going to be doing a questions and answers. I'm going to do just questions specific to sensorimotor. So then you feel locked in that sensation, and that is, then it almost feels like you kind of, like I had this for a while, for quite a long time, and you feel like you're almost being tortured by it, like you're just being, like any of the OCDs, where you're constantly in that cycle, sort of being bombarded every second by another sensation, another sensation, another sensation, another sensation. But actually, then you get very scared, because the main driving force, the sort of catalyst for this, is fear of being stuck in this forever and never being able to get out. With the belief that your whole life's ruined, it would be utter hell if you're in this. Whereas actually in reality, you still live pretty well, you still function well, you still forget most of the time, most of the day, you're not thinking of it all the time. But to you, you think, no, I'm trapped in this every second, every minute is hell. And I used to feel like that for a large period, I'm talking years, because I had no treatment for it then at all, no understanding of it at all. And so I used to just lie in the bath, say in the morning, and just be bombarded constantly by blinking over and over and over and over and over and over. And I used to feel like that, and it's very difficult, because with that one, it's quite disabling quite quickly, because you can't, some of the others, but you need, remember with you've got to be able to recover from OCD, you've got to be able to hear all the thoughts. So you can't back away from any, so you want to hear all. So all of them are tricky for their own reasons. Like POCD is very tricky because it makes people feel completely isolated and hated by everyone, the same as many others do. But sensorimotor, I've got hay fever at the moment, try not to sneeze. Sensorimotor is tricky because it makes you feel trapped in something that you can't sort of get away from at all. Like the other ones, you can get away from, because the other ones, no, you can't always, of course not, because OCD morphs around those things, but you can get away to some degree from the other ones. Sensory motor you can't, because it's in you, so it's just constant repetition, so there is no real escape from that. So that's very much the case, and that becomes, people become very, very scared of that, and it can feel like their whole world has suddenly changed in that moment. But it isn't. Actually, all that's happened is very simple. You're just scared of a sensation. So the exposure is experiencing the sensation, feeling the sensation, wearing it like an uncomfortable coat. But then there's quite a bit of work to do on learning to see that it isn't the end of the world, learning to see that life still goes on, and changing your perspective. It took a while for that. And then you've got the sort of controls, this sort of internal control that's going on, where you're trying to internally control it, trying to stop it and prevent it, and you're trying to jam on the brakes there. So it's sort of learning to release that too. So learning to not engage and be locked up in that, which is a process. It's got to be felt. That you're disputing your irrational beliefs and changing your perspective gets under, allows you to become more accepting and feel more free, as well as the distance you create with it through the mindfulness, through not mindfulness, yes, but it's got to be done in the right way, because otherwise it can be very counterproductive for people with sensorimotor OCD, because it takes them more internalized into their head, where they want to be external, not so much locked up in their sensations, which they are, because they're completely focused on their internal world. And so it's that combination that releases. And it's very, very quick sensation with sensorimotor OCD. You just think in 1 second, oh my God, what if it's still there? Oh no, what if it ruins my whole day? Oh, what if I can't relax? And that's where it's coming from, you see. So that's what it's doing. And it picks any of those sensations, and whichever one it gets a hold on, it will just lock. And it will morph between different ones, or it may stay locked on one for a very long time. The one it used to lock on me for a long time was a sort of, it's a kind of version of this, but it's like a repeated word, like dog, just over and over and over to kind of torture you, where I used to think, like, if I couldn't stop repeating the word dog in my head, then my life would just be all encompassed by the word dog, so it would just repeat that all the time. And so I would just feel like I was being tortured by that, but actually it wasn't repeating it all the time. It was my fear of it repeating it that created a sensation that mimicked that to make it feel like that was the case. Okay, let's have a look if there's some questions here. It's only a very short talk on sensorimotor. I will come and do a longer one. I just wanted to get it covered for some people that have been asking. Oh yeah, it's earworms as well. Repeated songs that just keep playing out over and over and over. I used to get that and be scared of hearing songs multiple times. Whereas actually I love to listen to songs like 40 times, get all the enjoyment out of them till they're dead. It's like, that's how I listen to a lot of music. If I hear a song that I like, I'll play it so many times till I no longer like it, because that's sort of the process of listening to music I often do. So earworm OCD can be one, whereas the exposure is listening to the music over and over and getting used to it playing out and not being scared of it. Everyone gets earworm, but they just don't have the same reaction we do. And it doesn't create that same reaction that starts the cycle, which we then learn to turn off through what I'm discussing here. Okay, I think that covers sensorimotor OCD today in a sort of a very, very brief format of how the process is. But I will do a much longer one, and I will be back on here doing another question and answers maybe this evening or tomorrow. So I'll see you guys there. All right, guys, take it easy. See you later.